Sis, what if I told you the real reason men fall hardest for certain women has nothing to do with their looks, timing, or even chemistry, but a level of emotional detachment that most women don't even realize that they have mastered? I'm talking about a very specific kind of detachment, the kind that comes from healing, from self respect, and emotional discipline, the kind that makes a woman magnetic because she is not auditioning for anybody's approval. She's rooted, she's intentional, she's soft without being fragile, and she's powerful without performing her strength. And here's the twist. Psychology research shows that when a woman leads with secure energy, not anxious chasing energy, and not avoidant withdrawal energy, she activates deeper long-term interest in men far more consistently than a woman who overinvests early. Yet, most women confuse this form of detachment with being cold, unavailable, or even too independent, when in actuality, it's one of the highest expressions of her self worth. That's why today I'm breaking down what detachment is, how you develop it without even becoming hardened, and why more men become more consistent, more committed, and more emotionally open to those women who embody it. And before we get to the end, I'm going to tell you why mastering this one skill may be the thing that finally shifts your dating life for good. Today, we're talking about why men fall for women who've mastered detachment. If you are new here or finding me for the very first time, my name is Marshawn Olanio. Thank you so much for being here. I am a shift relationship strategist, and I help and serve professional Black women who have mastered their careers of being boss at work in their careers, but then they need help shifting into the soft or showing the softer side of themselves with their partner. So I help them with the shift. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, let's jump into this. Let's not even waste any more time or effort. The very first thing that came to mind is what detachment really is. We have healthy versus performative detachment. Detachment is emotional clarity. It's not emotional shutdown. That's not what we're doing. Most women think that detachment means acting like they don't care, when the real power comes from caring without abandoning one's self. Detachment is not withholding affection. It's withholding access to your peace until this person, this man, has actually earned it. As also, healthy detachment is the ability to observe your feelings without letting them run your actions, especially early in the dating scene, where perception is everything. Research actually shows from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology that secure individuals maintain closeness without losing themselves. And this is the root of healthy detachment. This is the root of healthy detachment. Well, look, when I'm helping and or coaching my clients, I don't specifically say you need to detach, right? But what I do help them to realize is the more that you are giving, especially in the beginning, the more that you are available, right? The chase is no longer a thing for most men. A lot of people in general, but let's just say men, right? Because I'm talking about heterosexual relationships. You are the woman, he's the man, right? Okay, right. Walking together. So most men, they love the chase. They love the chase. They love the chase. And so if you are too available, there's really no cat and mouse chasing that is going on, right? And so you want there to be a healthy level of chase being there. You don't want to be too accessible. It's not so much that you're playing a game, although you are. Now, why am I saying it that way? It's because you intellectually know that men love to chase. You want to be the woman that he is chasing, but also you want to kind of balance that out by being available, because nobody wants to chase and chase and chase and chase and you're never available. However, you don't want to be too available, which is always answering as soon as they call or text. Again, always answering, picking up the phone as soon as he's calling. Um, you making all the plans, you being there, you dropping your plans when they try to come around and make something happen at the last minute. I don't do last minute. I don't suggest that you do last minute, because most of us, you see all this gray hair is not here just for the play pay. And I'm saying that because most of us that are mature, whether you show your gray hair or not, who are mature, right? We have things to do. We have responsibilities. Our schedules are pretty packed for the most part, especially if you have a children, specifically those child or children that live in the household, right? And then you may have to be a parent to adult children. You may be being a parent to your own parents, right? Because now they're getting older. We're getting older, and so are they. So now we're taking care of our parents. They may be living in a household. They may be living close, etc. So we have so many other responsibilities outside of a job or a career, outside of dating. So the time is precious. The time is very precious. And so, as much as a lot of us don't like to play these games, there is a game that has to be played so you become the prize. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, comment down in the comment section below that this is making sense, because there has to be a level of detachment, because you don't want to just give and think that this one person that is showing you all this time and attention right now is going to be your person. They may just love the chase. And then after they've gotten you and now you're ready to open up emotionally to this person, they're like, nah, that ain't really the game that I'm trying to enter into. Right. And then there's also you have to show a level of detachment, because you want this man to actually choose you. Now, why am I saying that? Because sometimes people fall into a relationship. Why am I saying that? And I'm specifically talking about the male counterparts. Now, is this every man? Absolutely not. So now that we're past that, men want to make sure that they have chosen you. You want to be his choice, not somebody that he just falls into a relationship with. So you want there to be a level of chase where he has now captured you as his feast, as his bait, whatever, right? Whatever word you want to insert there. So you must detach in order for him to be able to chase you, right? You must detach in order for him to see you as the prize. So always being available is not something that I ever um, inspire my clients and even my friends to do, to be, because you want him to feel like he has chosen you. A lot of times when they feel like they have fallen into the relationship, it's because you're doing all the things, you are available, and he's kind of just going along with the plan, if you will. He's going along with your programming. And then this is when sometimes we get ghosted. It's because now he's woken up and he's like, wait a minute, I think I'm actually in a relationship. I didn't really sign up to be in a relationship. So what I'm going to do, and because I didn't choose to be in this relationship, right? I'm making a choice. Because I didn't choose to be in this relationship, I'm going to back up. But you, as the woman, sees it as he's ghosting you, and or what happened. We were doing all these things together. We were spending all this time together. We were sharing things, and then he woke up and he was just like, I didn't necessarily choose this woman to be my girl, my woman. I kind of fell into it because she made it very easy. She was cooking all the time and invite me over. Well, I ain't doing nothing. Let me go do that. Right. So all of that is to say, I'm gonna back this up. Detach in a way so you don't have to feel the feelings of regret from jumping in, from overly investing. Okay, that's the first thing. Detachment. That's what detachment actually is, and that's an example to go along with it. The next thing that I thought about is how most women often attain being detached, right? So you attain this by healing. You detain this by setting boundaries and enforcing those things. You attain detachment with your self growth by coming to YouTube and listening to things like this, reading books, taking courses, and not just listening to all these things, not just reading all of these things, not just taking the courses, but applying these things to your life. True detachment, my love, is gained through inner work. Many women become detached after realizing that they have spent so many years over giving, over explaining, and even over functioning while out here on the dating scene. And then one day they wake up and say, I'm done. I'm just simply done with all of these things. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Detachment often shows up naturally once a woman builds her self respect, starts to trust who she actually is, her self worth, what she's bringing to the table. All of these things begin to occur as she starts to grow, as she starts to accept herself as the woman that she is and is becoming. All of that happens, right? Post breakup. This one is important. Please listen to this one. Post breakup growth studies show that women who intentionally self reflect and prioritize their emotional recovery develop greater independence and stronger um, self concept. Yes. Boundary research from the University of Kentucky found that women who set consistent boundaries report higher self esteem and lower relational anxiety. It's not just that you have to set the boundaries, you have to enforce these things, and then you have to do it consistently in order for you to continue to start building up your self esteem. I really like the post breakup studies because a lot of studies are not taken after someone breaks up. And so this one is very important to remember. But I really want you to pay attention to the self reflection that has to occur in order for you to feel like you are prioritizing your emotional recovery. What happened? What part did I play in the breakdown of this relationship? And really being truly honest with yourself. It could be something as simple yet profound. I chose the wrong person. I accepted the wrong person to be a part of my life, to be a part of my world. Right? That's the first thing, is accepting that this is the wrong person. Maybe you were more focused on the chemistry versus the compatibility, which is another video. We'll talk about that deeper on another video. That happens. You think everything is like going great. And then a couple months later, you get busted in the head because you like, it wasn't that it wasn't true. It wasn't like we were both showing up and lying and our representatives were showing up. It wasn't that at all. But we are not compatible. Now that I'm asking these deeper questions, now that I'm getting a better sense of who he is, now that we're spending more time together, now that I'm asking him things that I really want in my life, but I may not be framing it about him and I'm just asking certain questions to get a better understanding of how he views the world, especially the world that I want to build and I want somebody to be a part of. This thing is out of alignment. We ain't here. We ain't here. We here, or even we here. And so you can make a better judgment call by saying, you know what? This person ain't for me. Accepting that instead of just going along, even though you're witnessing the red flags. You're noticing them, and then you're still going to the altar. You're still sending out invitations, only for a few years to go by. And the very thing that you didn't want to happen happens. If you got married, it's a divorce. If you continue the relationship, it's a breakup. But it's the same result. You're no longer with that person. It's a heavy, it's a healthy level of detachment when you really can see it through the eyes of not just blaming the other person and pointing the finger all the time about what they did and didn't do, what they brought to the table, didn't bring to the table. What did you do? What didn't you do? How often did you speak up? Were you speaking up in kindness and love? Did you bring solutions to the table? Or were you always the one who was complaining? Did you never have a solution? It's a lot of things that go into building a really healthy relationship that many of us were not taught. And so I try to come here and showcase, but also share my own experiences, share some of my clients' experiences, but just to let you know that you're not alone in this fight. You're not alone in this fight. And so, shameless plug, if you want more content like this, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you get some notifications. The third thing that came to mind: what detachment looks like in a woman with high self-esteem and self-awareness. You can feel the difference between detached energy and defensive energy. A self-aware woman can like you without obsessing over you, meaning she doesn't confuse interest with attachment. High esteem detachment looks like taking your time, not taking yourself off the market after one good date. Even, please lean in for this, even if this is the first man that has paid you attention in months, in years. Because you're not just wanting or rushing to get off the market because nobody has been paying you attention. You want to get off the market because this is the person who has the best interests at heart for you. The two of you are very compatible based off of all of the conversations that you have had. You understand how he feels about relationships. Does he even like women? This is a new one that's coming to the surface more and more, that I am understanding that a lot. I actually heard this one male relationship coach who coaches a lot of men. And what he was saying is that he found that a lot of the men that he was coaching realized that they didn't even like women. They're heterosexual, yeah, but in the big scheme of things, as to why their relationships were not getting to the next level and or resulting in whatever they truly wanted, they could never get there because they don't even like women. Now that's a different story, but that's just something for you to really take into account when you're out here dating. Deeper questions: do you even like women? How is your relationship with your mama? That's a big one. 9 times out of 10, if they don't have a healthy relationship with their mama, you're a woman. He's probably not going to have a healthy relationship with you. Now, there are some ways to get around this, especially if he has started to do some of the inner work. He's in and out of therapy. He's trying to figure out, he knows why that relationship is unhealthy. He knows why he himself has detached from his mom in a way. But there are so many men out here that don't even believe in therapy, have a tumultuous relationship with their mama, and then they wonder why the relationship with their wife, with their girlfriend, isn't progressing. They always think it's the woman's problem because he got mommy issues. Not realizing that's his ish that he has to deal with. That inner work is really important for all of us to start mastering. Just think about this. If I'll even say 50%. 100% would be better. Let's even just go with 50% because it's such a small number of people that are doing the inner work that even if 50% of the people out here, and I'm talking about the world, everybody, 50% of people that actually did their inner work, male and female, the divorce rate would be so much lower than it is today. And let's even go to the Black community, even lower. If we would just do our inner work and stop pointing the finger and stop being victims of why your life is the way that your life is, and take some accountability and change your life around, because you have the power to do that. You watching this have the power to change your life around based off of the choices that you are deciding to make, based off the steps you are deciding to take in order to see and be a better person. That C part is the reflection. All those questions I was talking about before. Asking them of yourself before you even think about asking somebody else. Do you have a good relationship with your mom or parents? Do you have a good relationship with your child or children? Do you have a good relationship with your siblings? I'm not saying y'all got to be besties, but can you pick up the phone and have a conversation without y'all yelling, screaming, cussing, fussing, and literally fighting on the phone and or in person, fighting where one of y'all going to jail? Like, do you have healthy relationships around you? And if you don't, right? What's that saying? If you don't see it, be it. If you don't see healthy relationships around you, start cultivating the relationships around you to be healthy. You don't like when people argue, fussing, and fighting at you? Don't argue, fuss, and fight at other folks. Think about all of the things that have come your way that has been destructive and dysfunctional, and do the opposite. If you have no other way of trying to figure out what a healthy relationship looks like, take all that crud that has come your way for whatever reason, and now do the opposite. Do the opposite and see how much better your life is, how much better your world is, how much crap you decide not to deal with, how you can see the writing on the wall, how you can pick out the red flags and say, you know what, been there, done that, can write a book about it, but I decide not to write this book. I'm going to let you have that over there. You can see the writing on the wall and understand that it's healthy to be detached to a certain extent, to a certain extent, to a certain extent. But in this case, you're not worried about only jumping on that train because nobody has paid you attention for months or years in that way. Self-aware women communicate standards calmly and early. And actually, research shows that doing this one thing, the standards early, calm, reduces misaligned romantic relationships and the investment that comes along with it. See, it's all about you being clear about what it is that you want and being able to articulate that. Asking those questions, not worrying about if you're going to run him off because you're asking too many questions. That's what you should be doing. The men that are going to stay when you're asking all of these questions, they're not going to be phased if this is something that they want in their life. Not necessarily you per se, but the type of relationship, the type of marriage that he's already thinking that he wants to cultivate. So you asking the deeper questions is not going to scare him. It doesn't mean that the two of you are going to be together, but it does give you a blueprint, if you will, to say, okay, this is not scaring him. I can go out on another date with him. I can ask him even more questions to find out if we actually are compatible or if his representative is sitting right here in my face. Hell, is my representative sitting here in his face? See, these are the things that we have to do the work on. After you have the clarity on the type of relationship that you want and the type of person that you want in your life, the type of way that you want to live your life, whether it's sitting at home, whether it's traveling, right? You could be the person that wants to save money and you don't want somebody that spends every dime that comes to the door. Those are type of compatibility questions, because it's still showing that the divorce rate comes from misalignment in wanting to have kids or not, misalignment in the finances. I just brought up an example as far as you may be a saver, they're a spender, and then there's the misalignment in the religion. Maybe I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim. And the misalignment, for specifically when it comes for that example for children, it doesn't really show up until the children are there, because I can go and be my Christian, you can go and be your Muslim. The misalignment starts to occur when the babies come into play. Because now maybe you a hardcore Christian and you like the baby's gonna be Christian. And they like, nope, they about to be Muslim. And then some people do both, right? They show them the Christian way, they show them the Muslim way. And I've heard this from children that grew up in two religious households, that they become very confused. Is this everybody? Maybe not. I've heard it from a few children that grew up in those two realms, if you will. So that's when the misalignment occurs, is the whole point. Those are still the top three factors in the divorce rate: money, kids or not, religion. Okay, so we have to ask these deeper questions. You can be detached to a certain extent. Just know where all of this is coming from. Now, here's why men fall harder for women with healthy detachment. Emotional security is one of the strongest predictors of partner preference. Men feel emotionally safer with women who aren't trying to rush intimacy or prove that they're worthy of being chosen. The latter part, proving that you're worthy of being chosen, was something that I had to come to grips with, because I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled with being teased, with having darker skin. I struggled with a few things, not quote unquote major, but they were major to me, right? And so I thought that if I would cook all the time, they would see me as this worthy wife, that he would just automatically want to say, let me wipe you up. It never happened. It never happened. I thought that if I was buying gifts, I would be chosen. I would be seen as worthy, as proving myself to be a wife. I thought that if I would keep a clean household, now I just like a clean household, but that's beside the point. I thought that if I would keep a clean household and invite him over and see how well kept everything was, that I would be chosen. So there was just a list of things that I was doing to prove myself to be a chosen and worthy candidate to be your wife and bear your babies. And then one day I woke up and I was like, why am I giving him wifey privileges, and I'm not even his diggity doggone girlfriend? Now, do I gotta cook? Yes, but do I gotta invite you over every time I cook? I ain't gotta do that. Okay. I'm not saying that you don't have to do any of these things. Like I said, I like to keep a clean house. So that really wasn't for him. That was for me, but he got to see it, right? Or whoever I was dating at the time got to see it. So I'm doing things for me, and I know that, but there was some, I need to prove who I am. I remember when I started buying gifts, and it became a pattern for me, and I was just buying gifts every guy I was dating. Number one, I noticed that they would never give me a damn gift. That was it. And then I also had to notice that, Marshawn, you are choosing to do the gift giving. They're not asking you to buy the gift. So you either gonna do it out of the kindness of your heart because that's what you want to do. But for me, it was proving how worthy I am. See, I'm thinking about you. I'm out here thinking about you. I'm buying gifts and stuff. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about us. You see how good we could be together? Now, I wasn't necessarily saying verbally those words, but I was absolutely trying to prove who I am so I can be chosen. Because deep down inside, I was like, who is going to want to choose me? Because I was playing tricks on myself my entire time, because it had been ingrained in me so much that having dark skin was a bad thing. Oh my God, it's the worst thing. Now that I'm older, this is what you get, baby. Or not. I'm okay with that too. Also understanding that I'm not for everybody, but hell, everybody ain't for me. So just like they could choose, I could choose too, right? And so some days we just got to wake up. I had my wake up moment decades ago at this point. And so now you have to ask yourself, when it's time for you to wake up, are you ready to wake up and not look at being detached as a horrible thing, or I'm gonna be too independent with all the neck and stuff? Listen, that's not what it's about. Detachment signals that a woman is choosing him, not needing him, which triggers the admiration. It triggers his pursuit. It triggers his respect. That is something that I saw after I woke up. I don't give gifts no more. Now, if and when you are my man / my husband, I have no problems giving gifts. But my boyfriend, you don't need no damn gift. Like me, I don't need no gift either. I mean, like, let's be real. Anything that I say, I am not one-sided. I absolutely mean it for both of us. So if I'm not giving a gift, it doesn't mean that you don't have to give a gift out of the kindness of your heart, but it doesn't mean just because you're giving me a gift means that I have to give you one. That's what I had to learn. Just because I was given a gift at the kindness of my heart doesn't mean that he had to give me a gift. So we have to know what's well for us. He understands when he's being chosen. And he understands that you don't need him. None of us need each other in that way, like breathing, right? We need to breathe in order to live another day, another moment. I don't need him like I need to breathe. I'm choosing. I want, right? God said that we shouldn't be alone. Man should not be alone. But that also means that woman shouldn't be alone as well, right? Because according to my Bible, God was talking about man and woman, right? So if man is not going to be alone, that means woman shouldn't be alone as well. I digress. Men report higher feelings of emotional safety with women who are consistent but not anxious. This aligns with findings from the Gottman Institute on emotional attunement. I really would love to know how you have been able to show up and be detached. What does being detached look like to you, and how has it helped you? Because detachment is not about you being unavailable, you being insecure, or you being too independent. Detachment is all about understanding your needs, being clear about everything that comes your way. So now, if you're listening to this and thinking, I want that level of grounded, magnetic ease in dating, but something keeps pulling me into my old habits, okay? Then this is your moment to get clear on what's actually blocking you. Clarity is the key, as I mentioned. I created a quiz called What's Blocking You from Being Soft in Love, designed especially for high achieving Black women who are doing the work, building boundaries, growing in their awareness, shifting into their discernment. So you don't feel the tension any longer and you know how to show up in love. And when you finish the quiz, you will not just get your results, although you will get those. You will also receive a 3-page personalized action plan to help you to get to the right places, breaking those patterns that's been running your dating life on autopilot. Sis, take the quiz, get your clarity, and start showing up in dating as the version of you that love has been waiting for. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.